So let's get into this, man. One of the first topics we want to get into. So Thomas Castellanos, he is the quarterback for Florida State now. If you know anything about Florida State's schedule, they start off with Alabama, right? And he said in the springtime that Nick Saban is not going to save them, basically. And then he doubled down on ACC media saying, "Yeah, we are standing on business on what I said." So he kind of put his team in that situation. It was like, "Yeah, we are good with that, right?" So like, is that Bama factor gone? Like, just the fear of playing Bama and having them on your schedule, like not really double thinking about it and anything, like thinking we have a chance. What y'all think about the Bama factor?
If
It's
you're
for sure
Florida
gone.
State, that Bama factor is real. Now another team said that. It don't matter.
My mother is
Nick Saban
real.
being gone don't change a thing. Alabama football is light years ahead of a lot of y'all programs. They have the same structure. Just because Saban is gone does not change a thing. So they need to. Hey, Florida State, you gotta chill out, man. Nick, don't do that to yourself. Don't do that to yourself.
Bama would never die. You know what I'm saying? And Nick Saban's only gone for a year, so whatever he built is not going to break down and go away within a year. Maybe 5 years, 10 years from now, maybe yeah. But he still got recruits. I think they was like what top five last year in recruiting, seven drafted last year, 14 consecutive years. Like you know what I'm saying? Like as a high school prospect, you put yourself in a high school prospect shoes. What you gonna want? You know what I'm saying? You're gonna want to make sure you have a chance to go to the league. You want to make sure you play for a traditional program. Bama got all that. You know what I'm saying? So when I put myself in like a high school, I'm like, yeah, for sure. Bama's still an option. And because they top five in ranking, like in recruiting ranking, I could see them, you know what I'm saying? Nothing's going away. Maybe, yeah, at least not right now. Saban's only gone for a year.
I wouldn't say Bama would never die. I think with any program, there's a chance, right? You had Nebraska back in the day, like us, we never seen like the Nebraska that is glorified and you see the historic pieces of it where they was in the championship year in and year out, right? But then we'll look at Nebraska now. Like when we hear Nebraska, we're like, nobody worry about Nebraska. Like, but back then, like in the 90s, like in the 80s, like it was like
Right.
Nebraska, like you knew that was gonna be a factor. So I think saying something never. Now, will I think they will? No. I think something that you said, school that pertains to like the recruiting, like they're still heavily in their recruiting. They still have that aura, as people will say, right?
Hmm.
But I think from the Bama factor standpoint, I think that is gone because Saban and his staff is no longer there, right? I wonder what it will look like when all the Saban recruits are out of the program and they kind of really do their thing with that. But I think the Bama factor is gone with Saban. Now, will they compete? Sure. They're going to always be competing. Will they be in a lot of games? Will they win a lot of games? They beat Georgia last year. Georgia was number one at the time. So they're going to be in games and play in games. But when we think of Bama, when we was growing up on Bama, like that's championship or bust program, right? I think that's the Bama, like the championship or bust. Like we're not expecting championship or bust from them. We're expecting them to compete. Maybe there's one of the highest, but that's my take on the Bama factor.
So by Bama
I
factor,
love
you
it,
mean
man.
like
I think
No one's scared to play Bama, bro. I
that,
I
and that's
think
what I
it's
was
that
gonna say. Like
simple.
you're
I
not
mean,
scared to play Bama no more?
no one,
Nobody?
no one's scared, bro.
Crazy.
I think they lost
Crazy.
that
Bullshit.
factor when Vanderbilt beat them, bro. Like they kind of seemed human, as you would say. Like, and Saban plays a big part of that. Like when you think of Nick Saban, you think of a 60-year-old man going crazy on the other sideline when they're up 30 points, bro. Like Coach Daybor is not like that. At least he hasn't shown that. And then I think the playing field is just even now with NIL. Every team is good now, or has great talent on their rosters. So yeah, no, it's very short and simple, bro. No one's scared to play Bama. They're just another SEC team. Uh, and I think just because they had Jalen Milroe the last couple of years, he wasn't really the type of quarterback to put them over the top. We kind of seen that when he first got in with Nick Saban, we're just like, I don't know if this kid is it. And he kind of showed throughout his process he wasn't really all that. He was still good, but he was never that quarterback to bring him over the hump. At least for this year, I don't think anybody's like worried about Bama outside of maybe teams like Auburn, who that's a matchup or some shit like that. But ain't nobody worried about Bama, in my opinion.
I hate to make it an SEC versus ACC type of thing, but SEC football compared to the ACC is completely different. I think Florida State, with I don't know. I don't think Florida State has that type of firepower to act like Bama is nothing. I get Nick Saban being gone, and I understand that point where that fear factor is gone when you see them come out that tunnel. But that team's still good. That team had 11 players make the all SEC team. Like that's solid, bro. That's worth
No,
noting.
you can still be good, but no one fears you like they used to. Like I think that's just two separate things. And if this is an ACC versus SEC thing, I think that's a difference. I'm just talking in general. Whoever got Bama on the schedule, I don't think they're like, fuck, we got Alabama. Are they going to be locked in because it's still a good team? Absolutely. But I don't think it's the same. I know y'all heard that Manti Te'o story when they was coming out the locker for the BCS and they were all starstruck because they seen DJ Fluker coming out, you know, with his jersey rolled up and everybody was just quiet. I don't think they have that anymore because I think the ringleader of that was Nick Saban. Like they're still going to have good players. They're still going to be a good team. But y'all keep making these space. I don't think anyone's just scared to play them. Like, especially after Vanderbilt walked in and whooped them. So that's just me. That's just me.
It's
And
one
they not
year though, bro.
Right. Yeah.
That's all it takes is 1 year
And
to.
the SEC,
Have
and
we
they're in
ever
the SEC.
seen a situation where a head coach walked in to a team and like his first year was like, you have to win. If you don't win, it's seen as a failure. Like, when have we ever seen that? And even then, like, there was still, you could still argue that they should have made the playoff last year, to be honest. There was still an argument to be made. Now, yeah, they lost to Vanderbilt, they lost to Oklahoma. Those were embarrassing. But it's not, the drop off isn't huge, and it was still his first year. I would give him the leeway in terms of that. I think they're going to be really good this year. They're going to be national championship contenders, in my opinion.
Me too.
I think there's a lot to be said. I don't think he was a huge fan of Jalen Milroe. Jalen Milroe couldn't really throw the ball. Let's be honest about that. You know, I don't think he was a fan of him. DeBoer coach Michael Penix over at Washington, right? So, you know, two different style of quarterbacks. He got him to the national championship. I don't like. Yes, the Saban factor is different. He is the GOAT of college football, but you still got to fear Alabama. Like, you got to go through Alabama to win the SEC. Like, I really believe that.
I say Georgia, or
I
I
don't
think
know.
it's
I don't
Georgia.
know
I think
about
you got to
that.
go through Georgia for sure. But
it's a toss up.
nah.
I think another thing that's not that we haven't brought up yet with the Bama factor, of course, the players, of course, the environment, but the amount of coaches that Nick Saban brought onto the staff
Thank
to
you.
work with that team. You got Kirby Smart, you got Dan Lanning, you have Lane Kiffin, you got Sarkisian. You have so many coaches that are head coaches of their own program now. Don't get me wrong. The dude at Alabama now, they're going to look at him, and anybody after Saban is going to be like in big shoes, right? And they're going to have so much pressure that they shouldn't have. But he has a chance. Like, he was at Washington, and he turned Washington into a national contender. I forgot the schools he was before then, right? But he has a track record of doing well. But just something different about being at Alabama, right? That you have to perform at the highest level with the highest standard. And he didn't have much pressure at Washington. As good as they was, he didn't have much pressure. The place he was before, he didn't have much pressure. He's probably have the most pressure out of any coach in the nation.
Definitely,
It's good
definitely.
pressure though.
I gotta say, man. To answer the question quickly, no, they haven't lost that Bama factor. Me personally, after living in Alabama for some years now, you know the religion they take football as a religion, and if you don't get over a certain amount of wins, if you don't make it to that natty, that team is failure. Those kids get death threats for that. Like it's that bad. Like that culture is just like that. So I don't think the Bama factor is over. That city of Tuscaloosa won't allow that to happen. The state of Alabama won't allow that to happen. And I feel like y'all are giving a little too much credit to Saban in this case right here because there was a lot of rich Alabama football history prior to Saban, if we're being honest. You can look back at Coach Paul Bear Bryant. He had that team right. They had multiple championships before Saban. They were a very successful program before Saban. They became super elite when Saban came, but Bama wasn't no hope before then. They've always been top dog in the SEC. You always had to respect Bama, and to this day, you still gonna have to respect Bama. If you don't, you're gonna end up feeling stupid. And I don't know why that Florida State coach felt the need to say that because he don't got that track record as of yet. Right now,
Roll the tide, baby.
Roll Tide.
I like that
Anthony,
point, Zach. Go ahead, Johnny.
did you ever play at Alabama?
I did not, but I wasn't a player, but I was a staff at Alabama. Yes.
How was that
Yeah,
atmosphere?
how, like, explain it to us, like how to
Yeah,
feel.
man. So man, like it's crazy because pregame the visiting team come out first, right? And all you see is they have this little thing where they will show the team, and in the front you just see Saban. Like everybody's big as shit except for Saban, right? But it was something about Saban. You could see it in his face. He was it's
He's an
Saban.
intense
Like
motherfucker, bro.
you can't really say nothing about it. It's like you see that dude and you see the guys around him. That's like, bro, you better play 100%, 110% to have a chance in this stadium. Now, road games, like when I was at Tennessee, we beat them at home, but we lost on the road, right? But it was just something about Alabama, especially when Saban was on the team, that they was never out of the game, right? So when we played them at home that first year, Jalen Hyatt went crazy, right? But it's kind of like he went crazy too early, and Alabama started coming back. They even took the lead late, and then we ended up pulling that game out. I don't know, Zach. Did you come to that game? Is
I
that the
wasn't
game you
at
came
that
to,
one. No,
Zach?
I wasn't at that one. No, I was at Kentucky and
Okay.
another one.
Then
You had to sell them tickets.
yeah. Then the following year in 2023, we played at Alabama. We took the lead early. James Pierce, I think, got a sack fumble on Milrow, and then Joe Milton went and drove down and got a touchdown, and we was up at the first half, and then they came back and they won the game, right? So it's just things like that where some teams, like once you get up on them, like good luck. Alabama was never out the game when you had Saban on the team.
Who's supposed to be scared of them though? Like, because clearly no other team in the SEC is scared of them. We've seen how Buddy from Vanderbilt came out talking coming into the season, and that's supposed to be the
Man,
bottom
that
of
dude.
the crop.
That's not
But
SEC
but
culture.
like
If you
if
don't
he's
be
talking
scared,
like that, just imagine their whole team feel the same way. We just beat these cats last year. Obviously, we going in. They're about to go and feel hella confident this following year. So it's like, who is supposed to be scared of Bama outside of like the FCS team that they play in the middle of the season? Like, no top contending team is going to be scared of them, and barely any team in the top 25 or that makes the playoffs is going to fear them. Like, so who is supposed to be scared of Alabama this year? The point I'm trying to get is,
Florida State
Well,
need to be.
they do have one of the best players in America, Ryan Williams. You do have to. I mean, team
well, yeah,
will fear that guy.
I think y'all got it twisted as to saying I don't think they're that good. I ain't say that. I just don't think they're feared as a team anymore. Like,
how
do
do
you
you
have to
not
worry
fear a
about them?
top
Yes,
five
you got to worry
recruiting
about
class?
every opponent.
Especially you got to play them on the road too in Tuscaloosa. That's a game like you mark on
I
your
don't know
calendar. Like, hey, it's gonna get real.
for that atmosphere maybe, but the team specifically, I don't think people like fuck. Like we got to play. I don't think teams are being like, damn, we got to play Bama. Like they
I
know
don't know.
they're going in with a mindset like, yeah, it's gonna be one of them games with any SEC opponent probably, but they're not like fuck. Here go Bama. Like I don't think that's what's happening because we're clearly it's not the way a Florida State quarterback is talking. Like he said,
What they played
it
them
is
first
what it
game of the
is.
season?
Yeah, they
They
I
play
don't
the
definitely.
know
first
what their
game.
schedule
I think
is.
Y'all
so.
know,
Yeah,
y'all
first
know how
game.
tough we was
The
talking
third
about back of high,
Bro,
bro.
Bama is going to blow
Y'all
them
remember that?
out.
No, I mean
Do
no.
y'all remember them
They could
days? How
very
tough we used to talk about back of high, bro?
they could
You
very well
lying. You
blow them
gotta
out.
lie to yourself, bro, in order to think you
Man.
could beat these teams. And it's
You gotta
okay. Just
hype
build up
yourself up.
confidence. But come
They
on, it
blink
My
just
ain't
like we
not
do.
gosh.
not that guy, man. Y'all not that
Uh-huh.
respect to Florida State. Y'all can shock the world. Make me a believer, but I just don't think they that team to be acting like they're
That
not
ain't
scared.
happening, bro.
It'll probably be like how USC tried to come out back in the day when they was all riled up.
against
That
Alabama.
was against Bama.
Yeah.
It'll probably be one of those situations, but
Hey, whenever you got a dude acting like a dog and like somebody's like holding him back, you know.
hey, wrap that shit up, boy. Wrap that shit up.
What they call them, a feist dog?
I don't know
Wrap
what
that shit
was.
up.
Let
I
go of
don't
that
know.
leash. That
My
dog don't go
God.
nowhere.
What's up with my
That was
dog
like,
Scoob and Zach? Y'all straight, bro?
I don't know. Yo. They keep going in and out.
Yeah, y'all
Can you hear me
fighting for
now?
y'all
Y'all
life
straight?
over there.
I think
Yeah,
I'm
we
good.
can
I'm
hear you.
good.
You
Your
can't see me
camera
though.
off.
My camera? That's crazy. I'm looking at
I
you. Let
keep
me
on
try it
looking
now.
up.
Is
Your
it now?
camera not on, bro.
Nah, we can't hear you, School.
Scoop
Nope.
not
You can't
here.
hear me?
And man, scroll it
Oh,
through the
man.
phone, my boy.
Right.
I'm about to rejoin.
Nah,
But no,
School, we can't.
I do want to say for Bama though, Ryan Grubb is the new OC there, and he spent 13 years coaching with Caleb DeBoer, so he's getting his band back together, which I think is really important, especially in college football. So be on the lookout for that. And then their quarterback that's expected to be the starter this year is more of a pure passer kind of guy, like a Mac Jones esque kind of quarterback. Which obviously don't think about NFL Mac Jones, think about Bama Mac Jones, right? And he was really good. So I think they're gonna be in the playoff this year. They're
Is
national
it Ty
championship
Simpson?
contenders. Yeah,
Ty Simpson? We're gonna see. I think the Bama factor will come back. I don't think they have the Bama factor. I think it will come back based off of how they play these first two games. It'd be like,
Let
okay,
me
if
ask you a quick.
they blow out Florida State, people gonna be like, oh well, Florida State was bad this year or last year, but if they come back and the next ranked opponent and they start like that game's not even close, okay, like people's gonna take notice. I think they play Wisconsin early. They played Georgia on the 27th. So if they're able to get back to back wins against Georgia, especially being on the road against Georgia, I think people gonna kind of be like, damn, like shit, they might be back. And
yeah,
it's crazy because they only lost 3 games, and people was like, dang, they done for what they used to being.
right.
Mm.
To Florida State's point, like just in the
You hear me?
climate of college football now, like it just takes 1 year. You know, they had a bad year last year, but I don't think it matters. It's a year-to-year game now. So, and a school like Florida State could have got. I haven't looked at their roster, but they could have got an influx of transfers, big-time recruits, and they could be back in the conversation as well, just like they were a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
a few years ago.
I
Right,
just know they
right.
got some Tennessee guys. They got the wide receiver Squirrel White. They got Jason Jenkins, who was on the D line. I'm sure they had to replace Patrick Payton. He went to LSU. He was really good with Jared Verse, but you didn't really hear nothing about him last year because Florida State just wasn't as good.